So, we've all heard about the top 10 pop music of the 90s list. This ain't it. This is the top 5 maintenance issues that you can have with your mountain bike. Let's get on topic. Hey everybody, it's Thomas with Get Out Arizona, and you're watching another great episode of Toolbox Topic. I'm joined once again by my co-host, Brandon Van Leuven. Brandon, how the hell are you?
Far out, man.
Far out, man. Did you watch Dazed and Confused last night or something? Great movie, by the way. Check it out if you haven't already. So, once again, we're at the Trek Bicycle Store of West Phoenix in Goodyear, Arizona, because it's where the cool kids hang out, and me. And, like I said, this is 5 of the most common maintenance issues for mountain bikes that you see in the shop.
Yeah. Come through the door.
He's lively today, isn't he, folks?
Well, shall we get started? First one.
Mr. friggin' talkative over here.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon, since you're going to be in that camp of we talk too much, let's just get right to the video. Let's start with number 1. Let's not keep our viewers in suspense.
Okay. So the first one that we probably see the most is shifting issues.
Okay.
For a number of reasons. It's nice that we have one-by systems now, so we take that front derailleur out of the equation.
Correct.
But still, despite we're taking half of the drivetrain problems away, they're still mountain bikes. They still get the crap beat out of them on the trail. They still are subjected to dirt and dust and dry conditions, and they're still subject to rocks and getting smashed on things. So drivetrain, shifting issues is probably my number 1 thing that we see every day. And how we combat that is, there's always a troubleshooting process that we go through. It's like, what's it going to be? Is it friction in the line because the lines are dirty because it's been so dry and dusty and they can't run smoothly through the housings? Luckily, SRAM kind of eliminates that too. So that shifting issue has kind of gone away a little bit with the invention of the wireless shifting.
Right.
But there's always the rocks. There's always the tomahawking down the cliffs and such. So what we see a lot of times, most of the time, I hate to just put a broad thing, it's usually that damn hanger's bent. Right. So it's either the cables are too dirty or that derailleur hanger's bent. And we have to either straighten it out with the derailleur hanger alignment gauge or just replace it altogether. But it happens so often. It's so easy to bend that thing. I mean, it does its job. It's a soft piece of metal. It's supposed to be able to bend and break so that you save your frame, you save your components. Yeah. But it doesn't take much to knock them out of whack. And when they are, well, your shifting goes south pretty quick.
A couple millimeters and you're done, especially as precise as the shifting is today.
It makes a big difference.
Now, how often do we see it's due to cable stretch? Maybe not dirty housing, but actual cable stretch where the cable itself needs to be replaced?
Yeah, that's a good question. I tend to hold on to cables as long as I can, as long as they're not fraying up or I haven't damaged them by messing with the cable too much. Right. Keep that cable on there if it's still running smooth, because once it has everything's settled in, God, you want to keep it that way. You don't want to mess with things once they've settled. But you bring up a good point. It's really a new bike issue. New bikes will the cable
settle in and stretch.
Settle in. We call it stretch, but really what it is the cable housings compressing. And it feels like stretch. And that's something that someone can actually fix on the trail by using their barrel adjuster if they have a cable actuated drivetrain. You can use your cable barrel adjuster at the shifter or sometimes at the derailleur. Just put a little tension in there, and that solves the problem on the trail.
Nice, nice. And we're going to have a series of videos coming here starting at the first of the year. I mean, and there's going to be a video explaining everything like that, but we're going to dive into all the maintenance issues, my friends. Some of these videos will be episodic. Some of them are going to be 5 minutes long, but stay tuned for that because it's going to cover everything in detail on a lot of the stuff of what we're talking about today. So just to let you know. All right, good deal. This has nothing to do with it, but when you guys do replace the cables because they actually legitimately need to be replaced, do you beat each other with those cables? Because man, you could probably whack somebody and cause a great deal amount of discomfort.
I like to choke them with it.
Choke them out?
Yeah.
Okay. kind of like friggin' No Country for Old Men style. Joking, guys. We don't choke anybody out here unless they ask and they're dressed in latex. Joking. Let's get back on track.
I don't think you are.
Number 2, Brandon. Number 2. What's the second most common issue you see come through the doors?
Noises, creaks, squeals.
Okay. Bikes actually squeal?
Sometimes. Okay. Well, that's more of a brake issue.
Okay.
I would say frame noises.
Okay.
And I have to say, it's a mountain bike. It's going to make noises. No bike is perfectly quiet all the time.
Right.
So we have to be...
Especially mine with my fluffy ass on there. Mine do squeal.
We have to be a little bit practical of what kind of noises we're chasing. Some people are more sensitive to these things than others. Mm-hmm. Let's just remember it's a moving mechanical thing. There's a lot of moving parts on here, and they're going to make noises. But that's probably the next thing that we get the most is I got a creak. Now, people that are in tune to their bike, it could also be a good thing. Some people, I think, are manic about it.
Right.
But I think other people, yeah, a good ear. Because, yes, you did have a loose suspension pivot or part of your frame. So, and that.
Am I manic about it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I actually find more stuff on yours than you know about. So that's good. I like that.
That's good stuff. Okay. It goes to show you.
But, I mean, it can be a good thing. Also, creaky bottom brackets, creaky, something in the wheels. Sometimes creaking is an indicator that something's wrong, something's loose.
Yeah.
And when we ride bikes with loose things, they destroy themselves.
They do.
So, little clicks and creaks here and there, totally normal. But as things progress and get really loud and really predominant, by all means, bring it in. Let's check it out. And that's also a tough thing for us to do because a lot of times these bikes, my bike's creaking. It could be one of the 12 or 15, 16 pivots. It could be your bottom bracket. Right. It could be just a dry seat post. It could be a dry seat rails. It could be so many things. So that's why we have a fairly expensive labor charge for that. We call it a creak chase. I think it's $40 for a creak chase because it's just troubleshooting the whole bike and sometimes working from the back to front trying to figure out what it is. Especially like aluminum bikes. You think it's one thing and it just resonates through the bike. Yeah. It's like it's impossible to really hit. If you hit it on the first try, oh man, it's a good day.
Celebration.
Yeah, celebration.
Yeah.
You can figure it out on the first try. But usually it's a whole process of inspections that lead us to the problem.
All right. So again, we'll do a full video on that.
Okay.
Third one, Brandon, you got a list over there. Let's keep this going. I'm surprised he's prepared this today.
The third one's easy.
Okay.
It's my tires aren't holding air. Well, when's the last time you put sealant in it?
Right. Now, as far as that goes, and I try to maintain especially in the summertime, about every 4 or 6 weeks because it evaporates.
Yeah, it goes so fast in the summertime here.
And when you don't realize how much you're losing when you get those pinhole leaks, how often do you see that there's actually something wrong with either the bead itself, just kind of rolled and it's not holding quite like it did when you get that initial pop, or that there's something wrong with the rim itself, maybe a damaged nipple or on the stem.
All those things.
Okay.
I mean, I would say the number one thing is that we forget to put sealant in them.
Okay.
I open them up and it's bone dry inside. Well, that's it. Just pour some in, they're on their way. That's great.
Like Tom Cruise and Cocktail?
Yeah. Coming around the back.
The hit me shakes?
Without the Elizabeth shoe, unfortunately. Yeah.
She was a looker back in the day.
She still is.
Oh, yeah, no, that's true. That's true. My apologies, Ms. Shoe.
Other things, if we don't get them sealing up with that fresh sealant, then we'll go in there, we'll look at the tape.
Okay.
And maybe we'll have to retape, because that tape doesn't last forever either.
Right.
They end up curling on the sides, especially if you've changed your tires a few times. It might curl up on the sides and not have that airtight seal anymore. So that's the next thing. There's always something going on. I mean, we love tubeless tires. They're awesome, but they're also can be a pain in the ass.
They can be.
That's why we see them a lot in here.
Yeah. Maybe you should get some Rhino Dillos in your tires. No.
Well, one thing that can help, and I hate them, but those damn cush cores.
Cush cores, yeah, the cush.
But they do help. Those people that, you put a good dent in your wheel, and they're not going to, Well, they may set up tubeless, but it might be pretty sketchy.
Right.
Because they're not really holding a real stable foothold on there. So, yeah, damaged rims will do it. Tape, and then the lack of sealant.
All right. So, let's move on. Number four, I would say probably is going to be squeaky brakes, squealy brakes.
Squealy, yeah.
Ooh, I've had mine. Just had mine serviced actually on
squealy
Esmeralda.
Brakes, and sometimes it comes from too much lubrication on the drivetrain.
Okay.
It could spill over by application. Maybe you shoot it over and it hits your rotor, or
watch where you're shirting your lube.
Yep, exactly. Or too much was put on there and it kind of sprays over and contaminates things. A lot of times, really, it's just people take these things through the parks and they get overheated, they get glazed, they get a mirror shine on them, and they lose a lot of performance. They start to howl and they start to make a lot of noise. A lot of times we can combat that by just resurfacing the pads and rotors.
Right.
I feel that's kind of a wasted effort, though. A few days later, that squeal usually comes back. So, I'll still put out the effort to do that. Maybe it'll work, if you really don't want to shell out the cash for it. But once your pads and rotors have gone through that, just replace them at that point.
You know what else you should do at that point is hit like, subscribe, and the bell notification icon, my friends. If you like the video, you want to support the channel, it's the easiest way to do it.
Nicely done. And there it is.
All right. Number five. What's the last on the list?
Probably wheel truing on there. Again, it's a mountain bike. They get the snot and the piss beat out of them all the time.
They do.
So, we try to teach people to be, finesse your bikes up, but you can't help it sometimes.
Right.
And it's going to happen.
Well, and you have the person like me that'll I'm going to take mine over anything and everything. Right. So, and then you're going to have the people that baby it a little bit. Yeah, and essentially they get a mall crawler, the Jeep owners out there, you and your mall crawlers.
So wheel truing is definitely the next thing. Oh my God, I got a chip in my paint. Oh.
Yes, it's a mountain bike. It happens.
It does. It happens. Okay. So we see that quite a bit too. And I would say 99 out of 100 times, it comes out just fine. It trues up.
Right.
Trues up well. But there's those guys with, again, talking about the cush core. If you're really a hammerhead on the trail, that cush core can help, because once there's a dent in your rim, that rim is never the same again. No. You can never get the tensions even. As you would hope. And so, once you start denting it, you're on your way out.
And again, it's going to be a fun video for us to make on the different, as far as like wheel, rim, tire maintenance and everything. And that video will not just be for mountain bikes, but it's indicative for road bikes as well, too. Yeah. Or I should say it works for road bikes as well. Well, it's slightly different application, but it's going to be the same theory. So.
And we have a lot of mountain bikers are big boys, too.
Yeah.
Not just muscly guys, or they like mountain biking. They're adrenaline guys. They're big dudes, and they're gonna be hard on wheels. They're gonna start breaking spokes, and I always say, well, you gotta pay to play if you want to do this. Because if you're a big guy, you're gonna rip through wheels faster.
Yeah, I've seen some guys out there, pushing the 260, 280. They're 6'1", 6'2".
And the same goes for the roadside too. You don't see as big guys on road bikes, but definitely more
some friggin' fluffy kids out there. I'm one of them. Fuck,
definitely
guys.
more on mountain bikes.
I'm not making fun of you guys. I'm one of them. I stick out. I see the roadies friggin' ride by me in a pack, and I think their combined weight plus their bikes is equal to me. Okay, these skinny little Twinkie twig motherfucker. Oh, sorry, friggin' out there, and they're looking at me. Look at that fat ass pedaling that road bike. Yeah. So, but yes, these all have factors. And once they start to go a little bit out of true or get a little bit loose, if you don't address it right away, it just continues to
It's all based on tension.
Yep.
And once the tension goes a little bit out of whack, things go south pretty quickly.
They do go south really quickly. So, all right. Bonus. Is there a bonus one? Number 6. Do we have a bonus one? That's legitimate, not just something you're pulling out of your booty.
Yeah. I say that would probably be dampener issues with the rear shock.
Oh, yeah, the rear and front shock. I like that one. Yep. Okay. So what could be one of those dampener issues? I mean, what do you see with the dampener?
They're small part. They don't work anymore.
Okay.
No matter what happens, they're usually fully open.
Okay.
And so you can't get a pro pedal or or firming or lockout done. So a lot of times that's not something we can do in-house, but we do have a guy that works here that does things on the side, and he has all the tools necessary to do dampeners. But that's another thing. It's an expensive thing. And I would say that if you rarely use your pro pedal or your lockout, just leave it alone.
Leave it alone?
It's a mountain bike. I rarely use my lockout. So
well,
if mine took a crap, I would just like, all right, leave it.
And a lot of times you're only seeing the lockout maybe like on a bike like the Top Fuel or something along those lines, where it's in a racing situation where you might need to lock that out on the fly. Right. I could never think of a trail that I'm locking out. Really? Oh my Lord. That was the wrong light, guys. It's usually the other one. I'm not even going to edit that out. This is the poltergeist.
Oh my goodness.
Gary. But I can't think of a trail that I've actually locked or would want to lock my suspension out.
Very few instances.
I have a hardtail if I want to ride a rigid.
Right.
As far as the rear goes. So, all right. Well, there you have it. 5 of the most common maintenance issues that Brandon sees here at the shop, with one bonus issue, the dampener. Okay. And like I said, we are going to have in-depth videos on all these topics and more, seriously, coming up in a whole series. I'm super excited about it. So excited that Brandon doesn't even know about this series yet.
Oh, no.
That's how excited it is, right? So, but at that point, guys, like, subscribe, bell notification icon. If you enjoyed the video, you got something out of it. It's the trifecta we love so much. It helps out the video, helps out the channel. Links down below. The most important one, Trek Bicycle Stores of West Phoenix and Goodyear. If you have any questions, you can always ask in the comments. I may be slow to reply, but I do always reply to you guys. You know this to be true. Or you can follow the link. You can call Brandon, talk to him or one of his amazing crew members down here. They're phenomenal. They'll answer all your questions. We have our social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the devil's work, but it's necessary to get the information and the word out about Get Out Arizona, our daily occurrences, and some of them are pretty ridiculous, and our group rides and group hikes. Whole lot of fun, guys. We want you to come hang out with us. The other links are affiliate links. If you make a qualifying purchase, we receive a small commission, but you don't get charged anything extra. Another way to help out the channel with park passes, gas money, and coffee money. The other trifecta we enjoy so much around here, my friends. So, what do we say at this point? Be kind to yourself and others. Be amazing stewards out on that trail, and we have to ask, what are you waiting for?
Get out, Arizona.
Yeah. We'll see you on that next adventure, my friends. Take care, everybody. Brandon, we'll see you next week.
Yeah.